All right, class, we are going into our next section. That next section deals with the biomes of the world. Okay, we're still in ecology, but we're moving on to the next section, which is the biomes of the world. Okay, let me move on. If we look at this map right here is showing you different biomes. All right, different biomes on each continent around the world and specific geographic areas. Okay, it says biomes are major types of community and ecosystem that are typical of broad geographic area regions. Okay, and if we look here, we also have somewhat of a key to help us locate some of these biomes, all right, around the world or on these different continents. All right, for example, yeah, you see we have tundra. All right, if you look at my mouse, the mouse is kind of waving on tundra, and the tundra is pretty much not dark blue, but I would say light blue. Okay, it's a little light blue, and of course it is northern, whereas the more further away you are from the equator, which is right here, the colder the climate of that area region would be somewhat. Okay, so this is at the very top, but as we can see, that is the tundra. All right. You can also see you also see what you call permafrost too as well, if you was to go to that location as well. And let's look at one more. Let's look at this. You see where my mouse at now? It is on desert. Okay, so we see the coloration of desert, and we seeing things right here. Okay, we see a lot of desert here, which is showing the geographical area of this type of climate. We see it right here as well, and definitely a lot right here as well. Just follow the mouse. Okay, but again, these are a key to finding different biomes. Okay, this is the key to find different biomes. Not all maps are the same, but as you experiment and focus and study this more, it'll be able to help you with some of these locations. All right, the tundra. It says these are some of the characteristics of the tundra. No tall trees, lies north of the Arctic Circle, supports mostly tough grass and shrubs. Underneath of top view inches of soil is permafrost, okay, which is permanently frozen soil. Swamps and bogs occur where top layers defrost in summer. Mosses and leeches cover the tundra. Okay, don't need soil. All right, doesn't need a lot of soil. All right, because pretty much under the ground is frozen, and that's what we would call permafrost. But under that, not specifically ice. All right, it is icy, but not hard ice. Okay, you would actually find more rocks and materials under there as well. Okay, but these are some characteristics of the tundra. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so we actually have another slide of what I was talking about. So as I move my mouse right here, you can see what I'm talking about. You see, this is the permafrost. Okay, all this right here used to be land, forest, grass, and land actually covered this area here. It actually covered all this area. Okay, but sometimes when that permafrost melts, it also drags some of the rocks and soil with it. So we have here on the side where it says exposed permafrost with vegetation on top. Okay, with vegetation on top. This is another illustration as well of what is going on in this picture here as well. We see the permafrost table, all right, which is right here. And of course you have the vegetation on top because the vegetation needs the sunlight and soil to actually thrive in that particular area. And all this right here will be considered the permafrost. All right, permafrost is frozen soil, or you can say frozen ice, but not as much as the Arctic. Okay, so this a lot of times when the soil is very moist, the permafrost will just melt, and a lot of that soil would just basically fall and go inside of itself and just fall off. All right, along with the vegetation as well. All right, they kind of call those sinkholes. If you've never seen a sinkhole, go online and check it out. It's pretty amazing, but scary at the same time, because a sinkhole usually when the land impels itself in, and it leaves a big hole, leaves a huge hole in the earth. Okay, or that particular geographical area. All right, so let's move on. All right. Again, it's showing you different parts of where the tundra lie on the map. All right. As you can see my mouse, I am kind of hovering over some of these spots. All right. Okay. All right. Let's move on. All right. Now, some of the creatures of the tundra is reindeer, Arctic fox, snowy owl. Okay. These are certain animals that thrive in these different climatic geographical locations. Okay. But as you can see, some of these, as you can see in the background of these animals, the places look pretty much cold. Okay, pretty much cold. Still vegetation there, but it is pretty cold. We have the taiga. All right, coniferous, board forest. All right, it says long, cold winters and short, wet summers that are occasionally warm. Okay. This is something you will see somewhere like in the Rocky Mountains or Stone Mountain that we have here in Georgia as well, or the Appalachian Mountain. Okay. But it's pretty good sight to see. Pretty good sight to see. So these are right here when my mouse is hovering over. These are some characteristics of the tiger as well. Okay. So pay very close attention. I'll show you another image as well. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful land. All right. Lots of vegetation, lots of area as well. For a lot of the animals in this area to thrive. And let's go to some of the animals that we can see in the tundra. Okay, got the Bohemian waxwing. All right, beautiful animal. The moose, the wolverine. Okay, so the hawk owl. Again, these are animals that thrive within the tundra. Okay, so all right, let's move on. All right, temperate, deciduous forest. All right, temperate deciduous forest. All right, it said mid latitude, enough moisture to support growth of large trees. Cold winters to hot summers. Okay, so this is kind of in more of like a rainforest type, somewhat. All right, rainforest type, somewhat. You have plenty of vegetation, but a lot of times the soil is still moist as well. All right, so you have a lot of you also have a lot of not just animals, but insects as well that thrive on the grounds of this geographical area. All right. Okay, here's another picture as well. All right, showing you where some of these areas lie at within the United States as well. As you can see where my mouse at, I am hovering over a lot of this. Okay. All right, let's go to some of the animals, all right, that thrive here. The wild boar, the raccoon, the copperhead, white-tailed deer, the black bear, okay, and the turkey. So these are all animals that thrive in a temperate deciduous forest, okay. All right, let's move on. All right, now we have the temperate grassland. It says rich soil, hot summer, too cold winter. All right, tall grass in wetter regions, short grass in dry regions. All right, and these illustrations of these two pictures kind of show you exactly what is this talking about, or what it the tall grass in wetter regions, or the short grass in dry regions. Okay, you also see a lot of this in Africa as well. Not mostly here, but as you see my mouse hovering, mostly these areas here, but there's a lot of this in Africa as well. Okay. And it can be used to advantage for lions or, certain cats. All right. Big cats and small cats. Okay. Let's move on. All right. Now this is a picture of the grassland. Well, not a picture, but an actual map of the grassland. Again, just look at the coloration, and you can see what certain areas of the grassland lie within some of the continents. All right, so as I'm hovering my mouse, you can see some of these grassland geographical areas as well. All right, move on. Let's talk about some of the animals here. Okay, we have the rattlesnake, the bison, and the coyote and the jackrabbit. All right. Again, these are animals that thrive within the grasslands. Okay. Some of these animals actually some of us probably have seen on TV or at some type of convention or circus or something. But a lot of these animals, not a lot, but specifically rattlesnake and jackrabbit, you can pretty much find in the back of your yard, depending on where where you live and things of that nature. All right, let's move on. Okay, chaparral. All right, chaparrals, it says scrubland, mal, rainy winters and long, hot and dry summers. Okay, beautiful land, beautiful area. Okay, let's look at the map. All right, this map is actually showing you some of the areas of the chaparral land is at, all right, around different continents. And of course we have the equator line here that's kind of separating some of this, but again, it's just showing you that it's not much of it around many places. I would assume that a lot of this could be in the United States, all right, because it's more towards somewhat of the in the outskirts of the desert, but it's pretty neat. Let's talk about some of the animals. All right. Wow. Okay. So we have the puma, spotted skunk, of course, wild goat, which can be very dangerous. If they have a sight on you, have a sight of you, very dangerous. Those horns can literally penetrate the flesh and also go inside of it can penetrate the flesh. All right, it can penetrate the flesh, and it can also do tremendously harm or danger to a lot of animals and to humans as well. As humans, we can't defend ourselves with these wild goats along with their horns. So their horns can pretty much penetrate and impale. All right, the word impale means to go through. So those horns can actually go through our body with enough speed and force. And of course, the gray fox. All right. Okay, the desert. All right. Well, pretty much we all have seen the desert. See some type of desert on the TV or movie or anything like that. But it says driest of all biomes, low or unpredictable precipitation. Okay. Very scary place to get lost at. All right. So don't get lost in the desert. Okay. Let's look at a map. All right. We have a map of the desert of different continents, and it's broken down into subtropical desert, cold winter, and cool coastals. Okay. But you can take a look at this more nearby when you get a chance, because it's on there. And let's look at some of the animals that dwell in there. All right, we have the bobcat, of course. Okay. You have the pronghorn antelope, the cactus wren. All right, javelina. All right, so these are animals that dwell around the desert or in the desert as well. Okay. I would assume that most of these animals, not specifically in the central part of the desert, but somewhere around there, because remember, the desert is precipitation is not always a guarantee. So I would assume that they stay somewhere in the outskirts of the desert, so they can food and water can be a resource. All right, we have the tropical savanna grassland. Okay. Grassland with scattered individual trees. A lot of this is in the homeland as well. A lot of this is in Africa. Okay. And then here we go. Here it says the tropical savannas of the world. Again, there's a map. All right, somewhat like a road map to show you where some of these tropical savanna grasslands lie. All right, where they lie on the map. Let's talk about some of the animals. All right. We have the warhog, the zebra, the Grant's gazelle, okay, and of course the lion. All right, these animals that dwell in these lands, which is the tropical savannas. All right, so we have the tropical rainforest. All right, near the equator, rainfall is abundant. All right, greater than 250 centimeters per year. Short dry season. Okay, pretty big and massive. All right, very massive. A place where you can actually get lost too. All right, so it's really good to have some type of compass or some type of locator when you're actually going through these lands. All right, but these lands are beautiful. And here's a map as well. All right, broken down and showing you distribution